Colin Barczi explodes his way back into the lineup with 3 bombs against the Aggies. They take game 1. Can they finish off the series?
You are Locked On Vandy, your daily podcast on the Vanderbilt Commodores, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Vandy podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Corey Burton, and thank you for making this part of your day. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. During the tournament, FanDuel is offering $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. So head to FanDuel.com to get started. On this episode of Locked On Vandy, we'll talk a little bit about basketball because the transfer portal is right around the corner. Tyler Tanner, is he staying or is he going? That's going to affect what Mark Byington does in the transfer portal at the point guard position. That's going to be an important decision for both Tyler Tanner and Vanderbilt basketball. We'll talk about that. Also, pitching was effective enough to hold off the Aggies. They're going to need more if they're going to take the series. Also, Colin Barczi explodes his way back into the lineup, of course. That's where we're going to start. Impressive. 3 bombs to take game 1. He's hit 6 home runs on the season, all in 2 games. Game 1 and then this one. He's been battling back from injury. He's still not 100%. He's still not in a position where he can throw, but he's working himself back in the lineup, and he is absolutely crushing the ball yet again. And that's going to be some welcome pop back into this lineup because 3 home runs, that's something that and Vanderbilt beat Texas A&M 14-8 at Blue Bell Park. So their first road win of the season. That's crazy. Their first road win of the season. Can you imagine that? You're this far into the season. This is the first time you've won on the road. So, nonetheless, it couldn't have come at a better time. This team is red hot right now. Mike Mancini, Tommy Gooden also homered. Tommy Gooden got to find his way into the lineup consistently. I think that's where they are. But Vanderbilt's now 19-12. They're 6-4 in the SEC. They've won 6 games in a row. They're on a winning streak. Hopefully they can keep that up. But they out-hit the Aggies 18-8, which is surprising because the Aggies are usually a really good offensive team. And 8 hits is nothing to shake a stick at. 8 runs is nothing to shake a stick at. That's a pretty good performance in most cases for an offense, but it wasn't good enough for this one and this one. But Caden Sorrell homered twice for the Aggies. Again, he was one of the players that I said watch out for. There's the reason he homered twice, right? Connor Fennell threw 4 2/3, giving up 5 runs. He also allowed home runs to Jordan Wilson and Bear Harrison as well. So Connor Fennell wasn't as sharp. And moving forward, like you have to, and I'm gonna get into it more with pitching, but you have to get more of a quality start from your starter if you're going to progress throughout the season. But Tyler Baird was good tonight. But let's talk about this offense because honestly, not only was it powerful, but it was clutch. When they needed runs the most, they got them. And that's something that has plagued them on the road all season long. It's just been something that for some reason they've gone brain dead in that process of trying to hit well with runners in scoring position on the road. They didn't struggle this time. And that's, I think, struggling through before, I think it's, obviously a learning experience. And Jason Esposito, I keep wanting to call him Joe Esposito, but that's that's the musician. Jason Esposito, I think this is where his coaching has really come in handy. I think this is where his approach has really come in handy because he's taken those struggles, didn't panic. Nobody panicked. Like the lineup hasn't drastically shifted because of it. I think there's been some adjustments in batting order. I think there's been a few guys that have gotten themselves into the lineup more because they've hit well. But other than that, there's been no wholesale changes. There's been nothing as far as approach goes that would suggest that this team had a drastic shift somewhere along the line. It's learning. It's taking cuts. It's trying to work pitchers into counts that are favorable to you as a hitter. It's trying to figure out what you want to do with the baseball situationally, where it needs to go, and kind of going based off of that. And that's been kind of the approach that I've liked from Jason Esposito because these guys have learned, and it's obvious that they've learned because they're starting to apply those things. They've won 6 in a row. They're red hot, and baseball is a streaky sport. However, when luck meets opportunity, that's when good things happen. And luck has finally met their opportunity because they've kept working on it. And they've kept working on it, and they've improved their approach. They've found a good lineup. They found some guys that can hit the ball. Colin Barczi is back, and obviously he came back with in a massive way, hitting 3 bombs in game 1 to help kind of propel them to a great offensive day, and a day where when the pitching was, I don't want to say struggling, but it was struggling a little bit. That's when the bats. This is complimentary baseball. A&M's a great hitting team. Pitching was good enough, and the bats took care of the rest. And that's something that I think you need if you're going to make a run. You need that complimentary baseball. And for Connor Fennell, I think you have to, I think for him, he's got to, I think his approach sometimes I think he's got to stretch his starts out. I think for the bullpen to be effective and to help you out, the starters have to go a little bit longer now. And I think you have to, you have to fight your way through that. And Wyatt Nadu is up for Vandy today, so that's going to be good. He's been kind of the ace, so that's going to be interesting to see kind of how he progresses through that. But for pitching wise, I think being able to get more out of your bullpen is going to take keeping them as fresh as possible. Connor Hamilton going the distance, I think, led to this pitching performance tonight because this pitching staff was rested and they were effective. Tyler Baird came in the 8th. He mowed down in order 1, 2, 3, and that's the first time that he's done that. So that's amazing. And this bullpen they're starting to kind of figure out. And I think Tim Corbin, as much flack as he's been getting, I think has done a really good job coaching his team through the struggles that they had earlier this season and getting them through and getting them to understand and finding pitchers in those struggles that he can trust. And like I said in the earlier episode about chemistry, the same thing happens with baseball. You've got to have good chemistry with your pitchers and with the pitcher and the catcher, and the guys have got to trust that, and especially at the plate too. The guys have got to trust that if they can just relax and do their thing at the plate, pitching will be just fine. But sometimes guys press because they're like, we got to score runs. We got to score runs because like this guy's in the game. He's going to give up 5 runs immediately every start, or every outing. And when you can build the chemistry to where these guys can trust the pitching and the defense is going to take care of things, they can go out and relax. Like Mike Mancini hit a home run, Tommy Gooden hit a home run, Barczi hit 3 of them. And you get Riker Waite driving in runs. You've got Corbin Reynolds driving in runs from a catcher's perspective. Like it all works out. It's all complimentary baseball, and that's just kind of what Vanderbilt needs to do. They had a great game 1 against Texas A&M, big time road win. We'll see what they can do tonight. Wyatt Nadu gets the ball. If they can continue that, if Wyatt Nadu can have another 7-inning outing like he's had, if he has another good positive outing, I think they can take the series. I really do. Like, I think they have a good shot at taking the series. They're hitting well. They're on fire. Nadu's on the bump for Vanderbilt and for the Vandyboys, and that's a good thing. That's a thing that breeds a lot of confidence. Now, Tyler Tanner, is he staying? Is he going? What's happening there? We're going to switch gears to basketball. Transfer portal for hoops is right around the corner, so we'll talk about that. We'll do that next.
I'm Clea Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. The NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament Elite 8 wrapped up with the UConn Huskies staying undefeated at 38-0 after a decisive win over Notre Dame, while the UCLA Bruins rallied past Duke behind a dominant second-half performance. On the other side, the remaining 1 seeds in South Carolina and Texas will be determined after their matchups against TCU and Michigan, respectively. Next up, the Final Four is set for Friday in Phoenix, with the winners advancing to the national championship on Sunday. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
All right, FanDuel. The tournament's here. Final Four's here. One of the best times of the year. Brackets, buzzer beaters, upsets. That's nonstop action from tip to final cut down. Felt like Tyler Tanner should have been there. Felt like the Vanderbilt Commodores should have been there in the Final Four, but they're not. As of right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a way to stay in the action all tournament long. Here's the best part. You get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the entire tournament. You can mix it up however you want. Game picks, futures, even same game parlays for bigger potential payouts. It's perfect for the tournament because every day there's something new, different matchups, new storylines, more ways to get involved as the bracket unfolds. So visit FanDuel.com to get signed up today. That's FanDuel.com. Get in on the action. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. So trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. All right, wrapping up the show here. We're going to talk a little basketball before we get you out of here for the remainder of the weekend. Tyler Tanner, is he staying or is he going? That's the golden question. At Locked On Vandy, if you want to follow along at home on all social media platforms. But Tyler Tanner, is he staying or is he going? What do we know about his situation? Well, I think he's still waiting on his draft grade from the NBA. I think he's still kind of waiting to decide what he wants to do. But a good sign in that direction is that he signed with CAA. Sometimes I get going a little too fast. He signed with CAA with NIL representation. Like, it was kind of specific. And that may mean absolutely nothing. And that may just be a posturing move just in case. Not sure. But I feel like it's a good sign because for Tyler Tanner, the ability's there. I've never questioned the ability. He has lottery pick NBA ability. It's the size, it's the strength, it's can he hold up in an 82-game schedule? Do teams believe he can hold up in an 82-game schedule? The way he plays, I don't know that it lends itself to that. And if I'm being honest, another year of development physically, getting bigger, stronger, faster, I think would benefit him tremendously. I think being able to show that, hey, I can do it now in a full season to where people are expecting me to be good. I come into the season as the superstar, as the person that everyone has to game plan for. It's a different roster. How can I build it? Because if you're a lottery pick, you're going into a crappy situation in the NBA. Like, you're going to a situation where you might be the only guy anyone's ever heard of on your roster. And you might be playing in front of 3,000 fans on a Tuesday night at home where you can hear every individual conversation. Like, those situations really test you as a player. Is he ready for that? Can he carry the team and get enough and generate enough excitement for the fan base to where now those 3,000 turn into 6,000 on the next Tuesday when you're playing a team that picked second overall in the draft, like a team that's worse than you, right? When you're the only star on the court, can you drive attendance? Can you drive excitement? Because if you can start to drive all that and shift all that, it starts to pique a little interest from free agents. And those guys look and go, oh, okay, it's not a bad situation. They've got Tyler Tanner. That dude will get after it. Like, he's got the championship mentality. Maybe next time, maybe when I'm a free agent, maybe I go to wherever that is. And that's also kind of what they judge from a lottery pick. Can he can he change the course of the franchise or help change the course of the franchise? Not one player can do that unless your name is Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or Magic Johnson or Larry Bird. And even Larry Bird, they had 5 Hall of Famers. They all grew organically. They didn't go out and collect them, but they had 5 Hall of Famers off that Celtics team. So, but when it got there, it wasn't quite that. Can Tyler Tanner do NBA GMs believe he can do that? Is Tyler Tanner okay with going at the back half of the first round? The money is less guaranteed, but is he okay going at the back half of the first round? That's the decision he has to make. For me, the decision that I would make if I were him, I would say physically, I just need to get bigger, stronger, and faster before I try to put my game up against the best in the NBA. He's got the ability. That's not a question. That's not the question. That's obvious. He's got the ability. He can play point guard in the NBA. Skill-wise, ability-wise, basketball IQ-wise. All that's in place. It's physically. Can he hold up? He drives, he hits the deck a lot. He gets bumped around. He gets knocked around. I mean, he's a tough dude. It's not a toughness thing either. It's can he actually hold up? Because this is a totally different level of players in the NBA than it is in college. Those hits are a lot harder. That floor feels a lot less forgiving in those situations. Can he do it for 82 games? And to me, I think he can. But if I was advising him, which Tyler, if you're listening to this, take this however you will. Coming back to Vanderbilt and developing in the state-of-the-art facility, the Huber Center, might not be a bad idea. Run it back, try to make a run in March Madness, run it back. Because I think if you come back, I think if Tyler Tanner comes back, it'll be really good in the transfer portal because I think guys will want to come play with him. They're like, okay, they got an NBA star. We're going to go play with that. We're going to go play with him. Chandler Bing is coming back for another year, and he's exciting. They've got a decent nucleus now, and I think they're going to be able to hold on to that. The guys that are done with eligibility obviously are gone, but I don't think there's going to be anybody hitting the portal that we would be surprised about. So this is it. This is they're sitting pretty right now. So if they want to blow the lid off this program, if Tyler Tanner comes back, they can do that. They have a chance of making a run if he does. He's an NBA player now, but he can be an even better NBA player if he comes back, puts on a little bit more weight, gets a little bit bigger, stronger, faster, has another year to refine his game to where he can protect himself a little better. That would benefit him the most. Now, there's no definitive things out there as far as where he's leaning, and there's no indications on, okay, he might be leaning here or there per se. But I think there's some indications that if he hasn't come out and said, I'm going to the NBA draft, there's still a chance. And so that's something that is exciting for Vanderbilt basketball. And I think from a planning perspective, if they're going to plan in the portal, do they need to go after a superstar point guard? Do they need to go after somebody that's going to replace Tyler Tanner? Do they need to build around Tyler Tanner? That's all things that I think need to happen pretty soon because I think the portal opens on April 7th. So for Tyler Tanner, his timeline is vastly approaching on when he, if he's coming back, if he's deciding to come back sooner rather than later, making that decision would also be good because now you can start recruiting to that. You can start saying, okay, come play with Tyler Tanner, and you get a co-star, then your team's dangerous, and your team can make a run to the Elite Eight or Final Four because Tyler Tanner has that much ability and he can take over a game. And if you have a guy that can also take over a game, you're dangerous, man. You are dangerous. If you get a guy that's like Tyler Nickel but better, like Nickel disappeared for a large portion of the season, but that dude could shoot. That dude could also take over a game. He was great. I loved him. I love Tyler Nickel, but you need somebody that's going to be a bigger star than that to kind of take this thing to the next level. And that's no shot at anybody. And that's no shot at Tyler, but it's, I think that's the next step in this progress, in this progression. So that being said, Tyler Tanner, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? I don't know. Time will tell. Clock's ticking. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that. So, but that's where we're going to leave you. Make sure you have a great weekend. If you're going out to College Station for the baseball games, be safe. Enjoy. If you celebrate Easter, enjoy that. Enjoy hanging with family. And until next time, anchor down. Peace.